I walk through the shadow of death left to fear. This is a journey through the halls of hell.
Yes people, what is good? I am BA, back once again with another reaction in the Babylon Berlin series. This is episode 3 of season 2. Also, I don't know if you can hear it, hold on just a second. Can you hear that shit? There is literally a guy that has decided to start chainsawing outside of my window before I started filming, so apologies if about the 20-minute mark I momentarily arise from my seat and then you see me return with his chainsaw and decapitated head. I mean, if you like cutting trees so much, scale it down, get a bonsai. Anyways, last episode I felt so bad because the lip-reading spy guy who I distrusted the entire show was murdered, and it seemed like he was actually spying on some of the bad characters in the show and not just Walter and Garion on behalf of the councillor. And like I said, the councillor might behind closed doors be making brutal decisions just now, but anytime I've seen him, he doesn't strike me as a cruel or bad person. He seems just like a regular dude. Now, I'm not saying that he hasn't done fucked up shit. I don't know, he probably did give all those orders. But if all that spy was doing was spying on behalf of another guy that so far has shown himself to be pretty cool, then I feel like we've lost an important good guy who I mistook as a bad guy this entire time. I mean, it can happen. Last week I killed my friend Jake because for the longest time I had a sneaking suspicion that he was a secret remnant of the Gestapo wing of the Nazi party, you know. It wasn't. Turned out he was just my friend. I mean, he's still dead, but you know, that's on me. He was actually a good person, it's just, you know, we all make mistakes. Granted, I probably took it a bit too far telling him to wait while I queued up another One Bites the Dust on my mobile phone playlist before I shot him, but looking back, these things happen. At the time, it was funny. Okay, enough fake stories about me murdering my friends. I love all my friends, and I don't even have a friend called Jake, because I killed him. And without further ado, this is episode 3 of season 2 of Babylon Berlin. Let's check it out and see what is said to it. By the way, thinking about it, surely YouTube's gonna copyright strike that intro. The fucking poor guy chainsawing the tree down and imaginary Jake were both murdered before the show even started. I need to space out the deaths better throughout my reaction episodes so that they hit better high points. I should have killed Jake about 20 minutes in, chainsaw guy for the finale. I don't think about these things. Yeah, it was kind of a shame the moment he went, you know, because I felt like I was just starting to learn more about his character and what his whole game plan was, and then boof, headshot. I felt the same with the guy on the train in season 1 as well. I thought he was going to be a big part of it by the way he was quite a clever spy, but no, boom, dead. These spies don't last long. Is the Colonel going through these files in his own office, or is he snuck somewhere else? Because this looks very similar to the actual desk he was sitting behind in the daytime. It's like he's broke back into his own office. They don't need to play tension music if he's just like forgotten his homework or something.
Kommissariat, ich habe die Papiere. In einer Stunde S-Bahnhof Friedrichstraße.
Yeah, that was his own office, because if I remember correctly, he's giving Garion these documents to implement his own guys in the killing of those 15 people. Garion's probably got his whole team here right now, aside from the spy, who I don't think he knows is dead yet.
Dann kennen Sie diesen hier wahrscheinlich auch.
Seegers. Was geht hier vor?
Okay, so that German general character we saw earlier was involved in the shooting of these people. What's the significance of them being visa applications though? Does that suggest they're spies from other countries? I'm sorry if I'm not following it, guys, I'm really trying.
300 Kilometer südöstlich von Moskau besucht haben Lipetsk, dem geheimen Stützpunkt der deutschen Luftwaffe.
Ah, shit. Okay, that makes perfect sense. And is that why the information's so significant? Because they're trying to keep the fact that they still have an Air Force secret? So amazing. So amazing. The best text ever. How can you even dispute it's the best text ever? Everybody knows it's the best text ever, and I say it's the best text. No, don't go. Where are you going? Ah.
Sämtliche Vorgänge unseres Gehirns funktionieren
nach den Prinzipien der Elektrophysiologie.
Is this the acid affecting him again? Has he tuned into this frequency knowingly? The one thing I'm confused about is this some actual Manchurian Candidate shit, or is Garion just so happening to tune into it right now? I want to know if this acid has worked like the doctor claimed in season 1.
Und sie dann als seine eigenen identifiziert.
The Doctor has an incredibly tanned forehead and an incredibly pale face. Does he just walk around all day wearing his surgeon's mask? People always forget about the tan lines of masked professions. People like to think ninjas are undetectable masters of stealth. It's like, yeah, okay, until the daytime when you're walking around with a tan line like that and everybody's like, oh, so you're a ninja at night then?
Deswegen? Verfassungsbruch, Hochverrat, Verschwörung gegen die Republik. Die Liste lässt sich fortsetzen.
Put anything else you want on there. Just get it done.
Chemiewerke Stolzenberg. Da ist bei einem Kesselwagen ein Ventil geplatzt. Und was quoll raus? Giftgas, Phosgen. Es gab 10 Tote, Hunderte Schwerverletzte.
Do you think that incident's in any way related to the gas in the train yard just now? Could it be containers of the same gas that were made at that chemical works factory the year prior?
Den Kessel im Meer versenkt und jetzt wollen die auch noch Schadensersatz.
Yeah, that sounds like it might be some bullshit. I doubt they dumped them in the sea. They probably repurposed them into these train carriages.
In deutschen Kampfflugzeugen.
Wo soll das sein?
Lipetsk. Das ist 300 Kilometer südöstlich von Moskau.
The police to military dynamic is very unique in this show because usually when things go up to military say to police officers like, this is above your jurisdiction, bro, fuck off. And it also seems counterproductive if the military actually have a top secret Air Force base somewhere and the police are investigating it to shut it down. I don't know, it just seems like something that wouldn't happen nowadays. So the dynamic is very different in this period in Germany to modern times. Countries love having secret bases and bases in other people's countries.
Ja, ist doch ganz einfach. Ihr besorgt uns ein Flugzeug und wir besorgen die Beweise.
That's a ridiculous mission. What's he gonna do? Travel 300 miles to Moscow and fly the fucker back for you?
Jede dienstliche Textilie der Polizei seit 1924 und das soll ich jetzt alles überprüfen. Das sind mindestens 400 Seiten.
These administration jobs in the police force look like the worst shit ever. Nothing but mountains of paper you have to surgically sift through. It sounds like the stuff of nightmares to me.
Was steht da draußen dran? Oh, Herr Kommissar.
That guy was stuck between two worlds there, and Garion could have potentially ruined all his photographs, but he still managed to show respect to his superior. Gotta respect it. Deep inside, that would have broken his heart.
Haben Sie schon mal in einem Flugzeug gesessen?
Oh my god, so is this his base strategy? He's gonna bring the photographer, they're gonna go Moscow and photograph one of them? I think my plan of flying it back was way cooler. Yes, they would crash before they could refuel. I don't think refueling technology was available back then, but you know, one of them could lean out the biplane and put some fucking diesel in the thing.
Jetzt hast du mich erschreckt.
To be fair, that guy did the exact right tone where you couldn't quite tell if it was a fucking animal or human. That was the perfect scare tone. Memorise that one. Never go, huh, because that's too human. See him, he sounded like a fucking weird chihuahua, iguana, bear hybrid.
Und sein jutet Herz, egal wie groß, muss vorm Büro in der Garderobe abheben. Und in der Zwischenzeit lässt uns Kommunisten abschlachten.
If that is what the counsellor does, regardless of how nice he seems when we see him, he is a fucking piece of shit. He's just a nice guy that seems to be able to do piece of shit things while conducting himself in quite a nice manner in his day-to-day activities. Where is his brother's son going? This kid hasn't had a dramaless scene yet. First he was talking shit at the breakfast table, now he's sneaking around in basements. I don't like to judge people by their faces ever, but this kid is definitely future Gestapo. I could just imagine him cackling wickedly as a Jewish person runs for their life. Sorry to the actual actor portraying this role, who is no doubt now a 20-something-year-old man and might potentially watch this on one of his off days. You never fucking know in life, and if you do not look like that. How has this kid figured out where this secret key is to some secret door and shit? He's been here like 18 hours.
Senior?
Was machst du da?
Nichts.
That was very good guilty acting by the child actor there.
Abmarsch.
Holy shit, he slapped that kid for real, man. That kid took one for that take. Damn, child abuse on fucking camera. Okay, Babylon Berlin with your fucking bitch slapping. Trying to explain this show to your friends sometimes is tough. So sell it to me. Have you ever wanted to see an unruly kid get bitch slapped? Yeah. Have you ever wanted An album's worth of blues and jazz peppered throughout your show. What? You ever want to see a hooker whose special is getting fisted? Alright, put it on. I have to let you know first though, she's just like a little side character in one episode. It's not like she's like a protagonist or nothing. I said put it on.
Dann, gerade als wir mit der Rolltreppe rauf in die zweite fahren, beginnt dann eine Modenschau. Mitten in der Damenabteilung. So schön.
So people mundanely telling you about their days just as annoying in any language then, okay.
Gerion. Steht nicht mehr zwischen uns.
Still don't believe her. Like, you know what? If this is proven 100% that he is dead, I will hold my hands up and be like, I'm so sorry for distrusting you, etc. But until that moment, I'm keeping all my chips on. This woman isn't fully to be trusted. She seems too happy to be here, too happy that everything's worked out perfectly. What in the fucking Sopranos dream sequence in David Lynch's mind is this shit? Oh, fuck, was it him that shot the priest? No way, so that would have been while he took one of those acid things in season 1. I was wondering why the priest was killed, because as I said, Octopus Man seemed like he really liked him as his henchman. I guess it makes sense Gideon killed him. And now we're seeing this kid with a rifle. What the fuck is going on?
Moritz.
Is this real? This is crazy. I think what they're trying to illustrate here is that acid is slowly fucking breaking Gideon's mind. Now, some of the things we saw in that obviously didn't happen, but I have a feeling that when it cut back to seeing what happened between Gideon and the priest character, that did happen. So I think it's just revealed to us that while he was under the influence of this thing, he shot the priest. And everything else was just maybe foreshadowing and the shit fucking with his mind in some way.
Die Männer fliegen zum ersten Mal.
Der Polizeipräsident sagt, es kommen Professionelle.
Professionelle Polizisten.
I mean, I can't think of anything worse than drinking a morphine acid mixture, waking up in fucking Moscow in a secret German airport and then trying to frame the shot of a fucking Spitfire correctly.
Kleine Montage und wir sind fertig zum Abwurf. In welchem Flieger gibt schon so viel Stauraum für Nachschub?
So they can refill planes, so I was wrong about that. And they got little hospital piss potties. Man, imagine being in a deadly firefight doing fucking barrel rolls and just piss splashing in the face of your artillery gunners. You never want to die with your own piss splashing into your face. Unless you're into that, then that's probably like your number one way to die. It's one of those things that's no fucking thank you to 99.99999% of the human population. But that last 0.0001% is like, yo. Don't tell me the plane's not gonna get off the ground. I do want to see this fucking little expedition. You know what, I've got to say that was a bit of a strange, like, tension build up there. What's the point? They're not gonna slam Gary and Raph into a forest and explode a plane, episode 3 of season 2. Don't try and cliffhanger me with a plane flying into a fucking wall of trees when you've got your primary protagonist on board. I know the guy's gonna pull up in time. Now, if you'd have sat Svetlana on that fucking thing, I'd been praying to the heavens. Fuck, that is disgusting. It's not even a piss potty, it's a fucking vomit catcher, my god. I've got to say as well, man, you know, my grandfather was a paratrooper, so he went through some of this shit, but if you guys have never seen it, specifically the Pacific, okay, so in World War II, even if you don't like war shit, just imagine this scenario, right? So when the Allies invaded the Pacific Islands, they had no idea where the bases were on the islands below them or anything. It was fucking raining, thunder, nighttime, and they had to just jump out of the planes all over the place in miles and miles radiuses of their own team, like fucking totally lost when they hit the ground, covered in rain and fucking mud, not knowing what direction they're in, nighttime, can't see shit and don't know where the enemy are, and then they just have to figure shit out as they land. That is some of the fucking bravest shit I've ever heard of. Nowadays, war, there's no heroes, because it's always someone with at least 2 or 3 generations technological advantage against a bunch of dudes throwing rocks and the occasional rocket launcher at at you. But back in World War II and World War I, I mean, I don't agree with fucking killing humans at all, but at least it was, you know, gun against gun, plane against plane. You never really get that anymore.
Sondern für ein Friedensabkommen.
Meine Friedensvermittlung zielt allein darauf ab, dass neue Vereinbarungen nicht mehr auf der moralischen Demütigung und der wirtschaftlichen Unterwerfung unseres Vaterlandes fußen.
I swear Donald Trump said that exact same sentence last week.
Wenn die Käthe jetzt reinkäme, dann gnade uns der Bärtige.
Oh, for fuck's sake, if there's anyone in your life that doesn't want to see you relaxing once in a while and putting your feet up, then they should not be in your life, my friend.
Einen Güterzug beschlagnahmt mit einer Giftgasmenge, aus der man gut und gerne 100.000 Granaten herstellen kann.
Fuck, I never really think about deadly gases and grenades, because obviously that probably goes against the Geneva, you know, convention and shit like that, or some other kind of war crime code, because it's just so fucked up to use in war. But if you put a gas as lethal as that in a grenade, that would be absolutely horrible. When I think of gas grenades, I just think like a smoke grenade, or like some sort of pepper spray sort of level gas, but not something that will just straight up kill you the second it touches you.
Es ist nur eine Frage der Zeit, bis diese Sache Wellen schlägt. Und dann sollten sie nicht wie ein Betrüger, sondern wie ein Aufklärer dastehen.
Very good advice. If this is going to get unraveled, this guy wants to appear publicly at least like he was the one uncovering it, not one of the guys keeping it covered up.
Nur die Spitzen.
Sie lieben ihr Leben offenbar noch weniger, als ich das meine.
Agreed. I don't think the police should be sticking their nose into the military's affairs. If they are butting heads like this, the more I'm seeing this show, the more it feels like the police might be getting themselves into some deep shit looking into these avenues, because surely these really high up military people with black operations like air bases completely off the map and shit like that, which costs so much money to fund, and that money also has to be a black budget because it can't be seen giving to the black project. That's one thing I've always wondered about economies, you know, like America. It's indisputable America has black operations. Area 51 was a black operation. Up until they announced it actually existed, it was off the books, hence it was a black operation. Hence they couldn't be seen giving some of their military budget to fund the base. My question is, that's like trillions of dollars every year for these black operations, and I'm just talking about one base. Who knows what medical science labs and all sorts of future military tech they're working on off the grid right now. Where do they accumulate the trillions of invisible dollars necessary every year to finance these black operations? That is the biggest question mark to me when it comes to all global economies, because all nations have black budgets to fund black operations. Where do you get your black budget money from?
Eine göttliche Weltordnung.
Even he's dwelling on this relationship in his head if he's getting little visions like this and it's fucking with his mind. I think maybe somewhere deep in his head he knows something isn't right between them. I'm sticking with this theory she's bullshitting about his brother being dead.
Ich habe mich in deinen Bruder verliebt.
Wait, is this real? Was she with him before she ended up marrying his brother instead to begin with? If so, this woman's a fucking hussy. Who's next on the list? The fucking uncle of the family. And if that's true, then I think my initial theory holds even more weight. This woman seems like nothing but trouble masked with a smile. Sure, we've all met people like that in life.
Erst geht der falsche Sohn heim. Dann lässt du mich mit ihm allein.
Again, a very abstract episode, but I love episodes like this. My favourite Sopranos episodes that stick in my mind the most are the ones that have like abstract dream sequences in them, and I really love writers who are really good at capturing true abstractness. There's a lot of dream sequences which are lame. They're just like a bait and switch, like, oh, you think something bad has happened and then someone wakes up and it's cool, the bad thing hasn't happened. I don't like dream sequences like that. I like dream sequences where like there's clearly lots of thought put into it and everything the character's seeing is a metaphor for things their character has experienced, or etc., or just in weird ways. Oh shit, they've been struck by lightning. This isn't good. Again, I feel like this has got to be a bait and switch though. Gary and Raph is still on board, right? Then they're fine. You better hope he doesn't have a parachute or the rest of you guys are fucked. No, it's not working for me. The protagonist's on board. We're fine. Told you. That's sloppy writing, Babylon Berlin. No point in doing it. doesn't work. I understand, someone's looking at it page by page and going, oh, we need another little beat here where something happens, and the writer's like, alright, the fucking engine fails, and then, you know, they might cry, and then reignites, and the guy in the suit's like, perfect. Unless that was actually in the book, in which case, you know, shame on you, novelist man. Damn, what a camera shot that was. Was that CGI, do you think, or literally a guy leaning out of the plane? Because it looks quite believable. Now I'm seeing it from there, it looks a bit more CGI-ish. But that shot over the shoulder looks really realistic. Makes me think they maybe actually flew over a real airbase for it. Have I been fooled? Let me know in the comments. Oh shit, they're getting fired at! It looks like they're getting fired at. Yeah, they are. Oh shit. See, now I feel tension because it's the cameraman hanging out the fucking plane. He could easily die. And if he falls out, they lose the photograph as well. Oh, thank God. Nice. See, that's how you do it, writer. You put a secondary or not that important character in a perilous situation, I will shit myself. You put the protagonist in it, I'm like, he's fucking fine. What are you doing? Aeroplanes just had barn doors in the 20s. They didn't care about air suction or anything like that. Okay, and that was episode 3 of season 2 of Babylon Berlin, and I will be back in just a minute with my thoughts on that. So, Babylon Berlin episode 3, what did I think of that? I think this has been my favourite episode of this season so far. I do love little abstract episodes like this, and I feel like we were getting a lot of the acid influence storyline this episode. First of all, we saw Gideon sitting down at that radio. Again, I'm not sure if he just so happened to be tuning into that, or if that is related to this acid mind control-y thing as well, but we got that. And then we started to see the flashbacks, which explained what we saw in episode 1 with the dead priest, and it was actually Gideon who shot him, which I don't think we saw in episode 1, and if we did, I fucking missed it, because I had no idea how that priest died. And then also, it's mixing in with other abstract images he's getting toward his wife, and I think that's his subconscious either still feeling guilty that it's his brother's widow, or just that something isn't quite right with her, and I'm in that camp ever since obviously I saw her turn around at the end of season 1, so yeah, I don't fully trust her. I think she's lying about some stuff. Also, the son seems to be very problematic. The first time we saw him was at the table and he was just talking shit to Gary and guest in the house, regardless of what he thinks of him or what he thinks of what him and his mother have done. I mean, he's a kid, he's a guest, he's at the breakfast table. I mean, it doesn't show much respect, does it? And then this episode we saw him trying to get into that locked room. I don't even know what's in the room or why the kid would be snooping in it, but yeah, there was that. So every scene we've seen him in is problematic thus far. And then Garion was imagining in his head he was sitting across from him with a shotgun, which I guess suggests Garion thinks, man, one day this kid might kill me. And you know, that's quite an accurate bet, probably. The Colonel gave up the files to Garion about this airbase, and that German general who we saw earlier, the one I said had like a sort of Ian McKellen-y presence to him, is obviously involved. So it was a crazy storyline. I wasn't expecting an excursion 300 kilometers away to Moscow, but it was dope. And then this whole thing of the cameraman needing to get the photo, they start to get open fired on after they've got it, he's hanging out of the plane. Man, what a great little end sequence. And I guess, it's no disrespect, but I guess I do not expect these higher budget looking points of this show, which is just impressive because I just expect things like this to not be given faith by studio executives and thus be under budgeted for the things that would have looked brilliant if the studios had given them a bit more financial faith. It's like season 1 of Game of Thrones, you know, they didn't really have the budget to film the battles, so generally you'd get all the pre-battle talk and then it'd just cut to a battlefield full of dead bodies. And it's not because they didn't want to show that battle, it's just because budget-wise it was an impossibility. So when shows like Babylon Berlin pull off actual action set pieces of this quality, it is really impressive. And like I said, that over-the-shoulder shot when he was taking the photos of the base was quite convincing CGI. It was a really good shot, and I'm usually so critical of CGI, so you know, much respect to them. But yeah, just an excellent episode overall, and I cannot wait to see what happens next week. If you've liked this video, click like, subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this, ring the bell to be notified as to when they drop. If there's anything you want to talk about, comment down below, and share these videos around to anyone you think might appreciate them or want to watch these reactions along with us. My Patreon link is down in the description. If you become a patron, you get access to my blog, you get access to these reactions I put on YouTube a month and a half in advance, and you also get access to full-length versions of everything I react to. So consider becoming a patron, it helps me and my channel out so much, and until next time, I have been BA, peace.